Welcome back everyone to Marco Collective Gamers 77, and today will be a quick overview of Art of Fighting, Ryoku no Ken, or stands for the Fist of Dragon and Tiger, a fighting game that released in early 1992 on the Neo Geo MVS and of course the AES system itself. Has been released, of course, to the arcade, Neo Geo AES, Neo Geo CD, SNES, Mega Drive, or the Genesis, PC Engine CD, PlayStation 2, Wii Virtual Console, and of course the Switch itself. Art of Fighting, of course, released back in 1992, was very unique in that it brought forth a lot of graphical pizzazz in regards to very large screen filling characters, definitely heavy use of the scaling and zooming that the Neo Geo could do quite easily, which of course other fighters of that time could not easily do. The gameplay itself is pretty straightforward. You got the use of all four buttons. You've got the A button, B button, C, and D, which is actually used for a taunt. And what's unique about the Art of Fighting game series is the taunt button actually reduces each character's or your opponent's ki. And each of the key gauge is actually is actually required in order to use your special moves. Without that key, the special moves won't actually fully come out. Um, What's also unique about the game itself, besides having, as you can see, the screen filling characters, is that the characters actually take damage, and you can actually visibly see bumps and bruises, their face swelling up, not just in the ending fight screenshot, but actually even in between rounds, and of course even on a character portrait. What was unique about this game is that you can only choose two characters when it first came out. The game also did have a super attack, or what's called a desperation move. As well, which was introduced. There's also bonus rounds in this game, like breaking bricks, or akin to Karate Kid, actually chopping bottles in half. As I mentioned, the two characters you can only choose to play in this game is Ryo Sakazaki, who's the main character you see here in the red gi, and Robert Garcia, who is a friend of Ryo, who's trying to save his kidnapped sister Yuri. It was also unique for this time, as it was actually a game that also tied the storyline very much to the gameplay itself. Each of the characters you face is a clue in the next rung in order to try to find your sister. The first character you see here is Ryaku Todo. After that, you meet Jack Turner, who's in a bar, Lee Pai Long, King, who is of course now a King of Fighters staple, Mickey Rogers, John Crowley, Mr. Big, who you also see in King of Fighters, and last but not least, Mr. Karate, who has got a secret with him. I think with this game being as old as it is, the kind of surprise for this game is that Mr. Karate is actually your own father. And of course, the nod to Star Wars aside, it's a little hokey, but I think the designers kind of played into that, and I think it worked well for its time. Back when it first came out, the gameplay editions were pretty unique and interesting for its time. Instead of just punch, kick, attack, and jump, you could actually do dashes. You could dash in, dash back out. Also, of course, those aforementioned desperation moves were available as well. Controls were pretty straightforward. A for punches, B for kicks, C for throw, and as I mentioned, D is also for taunts as well. Again, also, you can only use the special moves if you have enough ki. Without the ki, your special moves won't come out. The music is actually really good for its time, and it's still unique to its day and stands out. Visually, I think is the game's most arresting attribute, especially with the huge characters, easily taking up 85 to 90% of the screen, not counting the energy bars themselves. Besides, of course, the graphical flourishes of each character getting bruised and hit, especially with their faces. The backgrounds are pretty straightforward. There's not much kind of animation and movement. They're kind of just there to basically give you a stage to fight in. Nothing too stand out with the actual kind of backgrounds themselves. As I mentioned, one of the releases for this game also did come out for the Neo Geo CD, and of course the TurboGrafx 16 as well. But unfortunately, the load times pretty much killed those ports. The nice part is, of course, it was released on Super Nintendo and Genesis, and each one taking a slightly different tack. The Super Nintendo took the tack of having more kind of zoomed out characters, while the Genesis had larger, but of course no scaling or zooming. For me, this game is an easy recommendation as it's a trip down memory lane back to when fighters were experimental and, of course, being wowed by the graphical flourishes. Easy to recommend this game if you can find it for $7.99 on the Switch, Xbox, and the PS4 store. Thanks for watching.